A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another graphic novel spoiler-filled review today, so cheers. So today I am looking at Hawkman Awakening. This is issues 1 to 6 of the 2019 Hawkman series. Hawkman, of course, being a character that I was never really a fan of. I mean, the Hawkman in Smallville was always a bit of an asshole, and in the Arrowverse and all that kind of stuff. Not too bad in other incarnations, both animated and live action. Comic book wise, never really followed the character, just when he was part of different teams like the JSA and things like that. Saw this at my local comic book cafe, wanted to pick it up, sounded interesting, always enjoyed the character. Flipped through it, looked at the art, thought, fuck yeah, getting this, reading this, reviewing this for all of you, which I'm going to do. If you don't want to have this spoiled and if you just want to go out and buy it, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely fantastic. But if you want to see the fantastic art, if you want to hear a bare bones version of the story, I'm not going to go into minute details. That's for you guys to read and work out on your own. Then stick around for the next episode of
Read a fucking book. 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 People.
So this is Volume 1 of the 2019 Hawkman series, Awakening. Let's get into it. Great art there. So we start with Hawkman, flying around, just talking about how he's lost his memories, doesn't really know who he is. This incarnation of Hawkman is Carter Hall. He's an archaeologist. And he's kind of trying to recover some of his memories. He is in Greece, and he finds this temple where he goes down. We see these giant kind of gorilla hands and an artifact that supposedly is going to help him recover his lost memories. And as he takes the artifact, this kind of nautilus shell, the giant gorilla golem comes to life and is talking about, who dares steal from me. So then we go back a little bit and we have Carter Hall on a ship talking to a gentleman from here. We find out that Carter actually has a lot of these allies. These are all people whose families he has helped in one of his past incarnations. Those of you that don't know Hawkman, whenever he dies, he is resurrected again. And he basically started out as an Egyptian prince. And with each kind of resurrection, he's losing a little bit more of his memory and he's trying to kind of piece that together. So he clicks his little Hawkman thingy, turns into Hawkman, whose wings are made of nth metal. The metal that allows him to fly. Also part of the kind of dark metal storyline back in the day. It's a whole big thing. And now he's trying to fight this giant gorilla golem. He manages to escape from the temple. The golem chases after him. They continue battling, and then Carter basically just smashes the eye in the gorilla's forehead, and the gorilla golem crumbles down. Now we come to London, where Carter is visiting with a friend, a mystic, He wants her to do a spell using the Nautilus to help him kind of recover his memories. And when she casts it, he sees all different incarnations of himself, but not just the human form on Earth. We have the Thangarian. There's one from Krypton. So he kind of realizes that not only is he being resurrected every time he dies on Earth, but it's also happening across planets and possibly multiverses as well. And then he comes to here where he sees these giant creatures. They are called the Deathbringers. And he realizes that something is tying him with these planet-killing creatures. They kind of look like freaky-ass Gundams, but whatever. And the mystic chick is like, I don't know what the hell that was. And Carter's like, I need to go find answers. And that ends issue 1. Now we have issue 2, where we get a backstory of Prince Kefu, I believe, and Shiara. So these two are basically in the continuity. They get cursed. And so because they're in love and blah, 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 same old story. But when they die and they're resurrected, she is actually Hawk Girl. When they're resurrected, they have to kind of find each other. So this is where they're first kind of flying with the nth metal. And the prince has created this kind of statue here of, I believe, Osiris, but it's kind of like hawk-headed. And he writes down all of his notes, and then we see him in London, present day, and then he's reliving his time as a knight, as a gunslinger, the Easter Island. So you see that he's kind of had all of these different incarnations. Then he goes to the front of the train, and the train conductor, who is another one of his contacts, basically he's been kind of staying with her and her husband, and he thanks her for doing what she's going to do. He's like, you can't come up here, but she's very jovial and very nice about it, and it's clear that they're good friends. Then he goes to the British Museum, to the Kingdom of Khufu exhibit. These are all artifacts that he himself excavated in the 1920s and donated to the British Museum. So he's good friends with them. He talks about a theory with the curator of the museum. The theory that this isn't Osiris, but somebody else. And the curator is like, oh, go and get you all of the notes that we've done. Feel free to read through them. And then the curator goes and he feels like something is about to happen. And then he gets transported in Hawkman form back to ancient Egypt, where he fights the guards and he actually meets his former self, Prince Khufu, and they battle. And eventually the misunderstanding is worked out, and Carter Hall is informed of the Deathbringers that are coming, and that he hid a map inside one of the columns. Prince Khufu hid a map inside one of the columns. So when Carter returns to his time, he opens the column and he finds the map here, and the map leads him. The curator is like, Hawkman's stealing something, because he doesn't know Hawkman's Carter Hall. But the map leads him to Dinosaur Island. Okay, that got weird really fucking quickly. But I don't care because there's an island and there's fucking dinosaurs. Welcome to Jurassic Park. So, while he's on Dinosaur Island, of course he fights a T-Rex. Fantastic splash page here. That just looks freaking awesome. He ends up defeating the T-Rex, camps out. His goal is to get to the top of this mountain. That's where the map is leading him. He kills some sort of an animal and eats it. And then in the morning, he starts to head up to the top of the mountain, and he's attacked by these, they're called Phatharians, I believe, something like that. Just like these fucking bird people. And he basically fights this entire flock of them. And as he's knocking them down, they're hitting the clouds and just disappearing. And he has no idea where they're going. This is a long, drawn-out battle that is fucking awesome, in my opinion. He gets to the top of the mountain, and there's this old kind of mystic who has been waiting for him. And the mystic basically tells him, we've been waiting for you, the one true Hawkman, to come and get whatever you hid in this cave. And then the old man jumps off the cliff and disappears. And Hawkman enters the cave, and inside it's not natural stone, and he finds this kind of button device thing that shows all these constellations, but they're not Earth constellations, they're constellations from a different planet. And once again, he's ripped through time, and he finds himself on Thanagar with this incarnation of Hawkman. Now, I will admit, I was never a huge fan of Hawkman back in the 90s when I started really getting into comic book collecting, and it's primarily because this was the Hawkman that I kind of grew up with, this police officer from a different planet kind of Hawkman. Had I started with the Carter Hall archaeologist Hawkman, completely different kettle of fish there. But I wasn't a huge fan of this Hawkman. However, putting this Hawkman into the existing story where Carter Hall is kind of being reincarnated and jumping through planets and times and shit like that, I think this is fucking awesome. I really, really do enjoy this a lot. So we have some sort of faraway world where all these people have kind of gathered. There is what looks like a Hawkman statue. And we see these immense shapes that are basically there to just destroy everything. These are the Deathbringers. Now we're back on Thanagar, where Hawkman is fighting his Thanagarian self. Kind of like a battle in a more neon Blade Runner-esque cityscape. So they go at it back and forth, and then we see what Thanagar actually looks like with these giant floating cities. He manages to talk his alter self down and explain the situation. And one of the clues is where this hero of Thanagar is pointing. So they kind of work out on this statue that Hawkman kind of has to go here underneath the pointing finger, whereas Hawkman and his partner Shiara go off and patrol because they're both kind of like winged police. He finds this device and eventually comes back to Indonesia. He comes back to his, like, that cave, and then he is in Indonesia with more of his compatriots, friends from around the globe that he has helped in various incarnations. He hits the button and finds himself in this strange world, which we learn is the microverse, and he is teamed up with the Atom, Ray Palmer, one of his best friends, once again, that he hasn't seen in quite some time. This kind of twist that he has been brought into the microverse, which is the kind of, if you're going by the Marvel things, it's like the quantum realm, but in DC it's called the microverse. I thought this was a really cool twist. Did not see this coming. Forgive the pauses. I'm drinking Bad Decision juice. Sorry for that slight interruption in the video there. Okay, so Carter and Ray have their reunion. Ray tells him that he is in the microverse. Carter's kind of explaining what the hell is going on, why he's here. And Ray says, come back to my lab. Carter turns into Hawkman with kind of Ray on his shoulder. And they fly off to the lab where they kind of work out what is happening. At least Ray has a theory about that. Let me just try and there we go. And they talk about this idea of the Deathbringers, whatever they are. And Ray basically, well, Carter tells him that the reason he's here is probably because he has hidden a store of nth metal, maybe a weapon, to defeat the Deathbringers, but he's hidden it in Mosgar, which is like this sentient living death planet in the microverse. So they go there looking for the nth metal. The planet attacks them, as it's wont to do, of course, and they kind of fight their way to where this store of nth metal is. And the Atom lets Hawkman know that in the microverse he has some different powers. He can now grow as well as shrink. So they fight their way to the store of nth metal while the planet is trying to destroy them. So the battle rages. Ray Palmer, the Atom, kind of holds off the planet while Hawkman starts to excavate where this nth metal is, and he discovers that the hidden cache is in fact a ship which runs on nth metal. As the Atom is kind of fighting this planet, Hawkman manages to get the ship working and escapes. They get back to the Atom's laboratory, and Hawkman wants him to come on this journey with him, but the Atom says, no, I can't do it. This is where we say goodbye. So they part their ways, and at the end, Carter Hall manages to put the devices that he found into the ship, and we see a whole lot of different planets. And then we have this one guy who has actually, this version of Hawkman has actually brought the Deathbringers to this planet, and now he is gunning for Earth. And this is where the 6 issues of Awakening leave off. We of course get our variant covers, issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then some sketches overall. Okay, Hawkman Awakening. What did I think? Absolutely loved it. As you can tell. I'm really enjoying this series. I want to pick up more of these books. Unfortunately, my local comic book store cafe had this one, and I think volume 4 or something, so I really just want to read them in order. But I think this is a fantastic series, and it is a great jumping off point for anyone that wants to really get into the character of Hawkman. Really interesting character. Love the idea of the past lives and the reincarnation and all that stuff. I can't wait till they introduce Hawk Girl into the mix. Shiara, I think that's going to be really interesting. If they even do it, I don't really know where they're going with that character. But this was Hawkman Awakening, Volume 1, issues 1 to 6 of the series that started in 2019. Okay, if you liked the video, you enjoyed the content, take a drink, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, do all that other stuff. Follow us everywhere that Plaguelands Media is currently bumming around. Look for Ian Van Gammet's other art channel. He's been doing some amazing stuff. I will definitely link it in this video. I've been in a bit of a lazy piece of shit with the other videos. I'm sorry, Ian. Please forgive me. I do need to go back and put the link on those videos, but he's got a great YouTube art channel out there now. But most importantly, everybody stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, read a fucking book, people. Either a novel or comic book or a graphic novel. I don't care. I just want you to fucking read. What's wrong with that?